namely that antidepressants often do not do what they promise and are in fact causing harm to many.
Dr. Steve Hotze is suing over Obamacare's employer mandate.
It's time for a wellness revolution. Brought to you by Hotze Health and Wellness Center. Honest discussion on maintaining health and wellness naturally to enjoy a better quality of life.
He's the doctor fighting to let you keep your doctor.
Now, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
Welcome to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. I'm Stacey Banfield here with Dr. Stephen Hotze, founder of the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. So glad you're joining us today. And as a reminder, you can always go online to hotzepodcast.com. That's HOTZE podcast.com to download all of our helpful and informative, everything you want to know about health. It's here on these podcasts. So glad you're with us. And we've got a really good topic today, one that I think that people would like to know more information about because, gosh, what's one of the top problems that people have? I would say it's sleep. And when you listen to any of the, anybody who's talking about health or how to improve your health, sleep always seems to be playing a role. Like, you've got to get more sleep, Well, how do you do that, Dr. Hotze?
Well, that's a great question. Sleep is caused by darkness. When the sun goes down, people would normally go to sleep back in the old days before they had nightclubs and bars and all that and TV. Well, there's a gland in the middle of the brain, a little bitty gland the size of about a pea or a bean called the pineal gland. And the pineal gland produces a natural sleep hormone called melatonin. And melatonin is produced by the pineal gland when things get dark. So historically, long before lights and lanterns, we're talking about men living 500, 600, 1,000 years ago, living out on the plains when they didn't have really light other than a fire. They had a fireplace outside and they lived in a teepee or a tent. When it got dark, people went to sleep because the pineal gland began to secrete melatonin. Now, in modern society with electricity, with computers and iPhones and all that, as long as those are on, the pineal gland does not secrete melatonin. And so people tend to stay up later. And then when they go to bed, 12 or 1, they haven't secreted enough melatonin. And then they can't get to sleep. And then once they get to sleep, they have a hard time waking up. They're extremely tired because they've got their hormonal clock upside down. They've got their hormones being produced at the right time. They don't have the normal variation in their sleep hormones and their adrenal hormones that work together. When a person secretes melatonin, they go to sleep and you produce low levels of cortisol. In the morning when you wake up, when the sun comes up, you wake up, you quit secreting melatonin, you start secreting cortisol. So it's a diurnal variation that people have. And there's a rhythmic system to our hormones. And when you don't secrete melatonin, and this happens as you age. As people age, they don't secrete melatonin.
It declines. I
It
think
declines
around the mid-40s.
Yeah, it declines. I say they don't secrete; they secrete lower and lower amounts, so they don't sleep well. So, just like with any other hormone, what's the solution? Well, why don't we give them a sleep medication?
Oh, I know,
pharmaceutical. Let's give them Lunesta, or let's give them Ambien. Let's give them a benzodiazepine. Let's give them an antidepressant if they can't sleep. Let's give them a drug. Nobody has poor sleep because they have low levels of sleep medication or anti-anxiety medication or antidepressant medication. That's a preposterous assumption made by the pharmaceutical companies. It's not even an assumption. They know exactly what they're doing. They're using drugs to drug you up to make money. They know good and well that melatonin is the natural sleep hormone, and it's inexpensive. It's natural. It can't be patented. What do I recommend at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center? What do I take? I take melatonin at bedtime. I have a Dr. Hotze sleep formula that has melatonin, 5-HTP, and some other natural herbs that help us sleep, or you can just take plain melatonin. Sometimes I just take plain melatonin, 2 or 4 milligrams at bedtime. And I go sound asleep, and I know I sleep well because I dream, and that's REM sleep. And I know. Now, why is sleep important? Well, it's obvious. You got to rejuvenate your cells in your body. You got to give your brain a time to rest and for everything. It's kind of like a computer. Everything comes into sync. You go from beta waves to alpha waves to theta waves, and then you go to your delta waves. Those are brain waves. Beta waves is what you have when you're highly active. You're thinking about a lot of different things. It's almost like being ADD. You got all these things going on in your world, and your brain's going 100 miles an hour. Then you calm down into the delta phase and the theta phase, and then you go all the way into, you go from beta to alpha to theta into the delta phase, and that's the deep sleep. So another key way that can help you sleep is doing brain tap. We've talked about that. Dr. Patrick
Absolutely.
Porter, brain tap. Google that. You can get brain tap and go online and get brain tap and plug that in, and that will give you some music that will put you into a sleep mode, and also some very positive affirmations that Dr. Porter uses that will put you sound asleep. I put that on, and I'm going in 5 or 10 minutes. I'm just going sound asleep. So it's important to get sleep. People don't sleep well because as they age, your melatonin goes down. The second reason they don't sleep well is they're watching TV and watching their computer and their iPhones, which causes their pineal gland not to produce melatonin. When they don't produce melatonin, they don't go to sleep. And then when they finally do go to sleep, the melatonin comes on, early in the morning, and then they end up sleeping, until the sun comes up. They don't get enough sleep at that time, and then they're groggy all day long, and their body hasn't rejuvenated. So if you want to be healthy and well, it's real simple. Sleep well. If you want to sleep well, make sure you take some melatonin. We carry it at the Hotze vitamin store. We got melatonin. We got Dr. Hotze Sleep Formula. I recommend both of them. I've used them. Our guests use them with great success. So if you want to sleep well, get yourself some melatonin.
That's right. It is very easy. All you have to do is you can either go to HotzeVitamins.com. That's HotzeVitamins.com, or you can give us a call at 1-800-579-6545. That's 1-800-579-6545. Dr. Hotze always says everybody needs a health coach. That was your little bit of health coaching for the day. Thank you for joining us here today at Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution.
Information provided on this radio program is neither intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice and is not intended to replace the services of a physician, nor does it constitute a doctor-patient relationship. You should not use information from this radio program to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. If you have or suspect you have an urgent medical problem, promptly contact a professional healthcare provider or call 911. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution radio program advises you to always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new treatment or with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Any application of the recommendations from this radio program is at the listener's discretion.